Life is a journey, and through this journey, we come across all challenges. These challenges makes us better human beings. We live for the pleasure of serving others and feeling the guidance of the Creator. Join us and explore the opportunities to overcome your difficulties this Ramadan. Here on the
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. All praise be to Allah, the Lord of the heavens and the earth, and peace and blessings be upon our beloved messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Dear brothers and sisters, I salute you all with the salutation of the people of paradise. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. From me, Hatim al-Absalam, and engineer Muhammad Farooq, welcome to your program, Life as It Is. Life as it is.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, Muhammad.
I see you're feeling the effects of Ramadan.
Yeah. I'm hungry. I haven't had a good meal since yesterday. So today we have a special show. Today's show is called Going Green. And this is a very special topic, and it's very dear to my heart. And today we're going to go through some of the details about this topic, and Muhammad Farooq here has lots of notes ready for kicking off for today's show.
Great, so, Hatim, go ahead and scare the listeners.
Muhammad, can you tell us at the beginning, how did this idea come that we want to do this show about going green?
Great. First of all, Assalamu alaikum to all our dear listeners. This is a very interesting topic. I'm not aware of any other instance where it has been shared on a grand scale here in the Sultanate of Oman. So it's a pleasure and an honor to actually be part of this thing and to discuss this thing. First of all, we need to define what is meant by going green. Going green roughly can be translated into our relationship with the environment. And we have a strong relationship with our environment. It's the only one we've got. If you get into it, the broad classification is living things, as an example, humans, plants, animals, and then the non-living things like air, water, earth, and what have you. The issue of the taking care of the planet started back in the 50s and the 60s. With modernization and advances in technology of that day, the Industrial Revolution took place. Nations started to get industrial, and this resulted in mass production. With mass production came consumption. So it was like a 1-2 punch. And the mass consumption, that resulted into mass pollution, obviously. When people started to realize this fact, they viewed it as the failure of the market. And obviously they wanted to see who they can blame. So
they realized at that time that something was going on.
Yeah, they realized that the earth is giving them symptoms, that something is just not right. There were changes in weather, there was pollution, smog, deforestation, acid rain, and more was discovered, both on land and in the sea, in the air as well. So when they started to go after the culprits, they found out it's the individuals, where we as human beings were becoming more and more selfish. Second thing was, the other part of the culprits were the corporates, where they were driven by greed and profit. And they realized that the solution should be government intervention. That's another story, we'll talk about it down the line, how things turned out. However, people in the realms of capitalism, they started to view this as an abusive environment. So the youth of the time in the 50s and in the 60s and the 70s, when they were both anti-war and anti-capitalism, they started to look towards communism as a respite. However, soon they found out that communism was no better off. It wasn't a decent option. So what they did was they took it to the next level, because by that time you were having disasters like having mercury in the fish found in Japan seas, and then there was the infamous 3 Mile island disaster, in States. So what they did was they took it one step further, and they said, let's start a new, different movement. Let's call it Going Green. And that was the time in the 1970 when the first Earth Day was commemorated.
In 1970?
Yeah.
Okay, so if we want to find out the root of the problem, Muhammad. But before that, how valuable is our planet to us?
Well, it's extremely valuable. Think about it. It's the only one we've got. And there's a very popular and, if you want to call it sarcastic statement that if you think environment is not worth it, try counting your money holding your breath. Okay. So I'm sure once we develop an awareness and we propagate this message, most of the people of good nature, they would agree with this thing. Besides, we all care about the next generation. We all have children, alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
And we want to leave a similar planet, if not a better one for them.
Yeah. Now the thing is, Muhammad, are we worried? Are we really worried that the next generation might come and blame us that we have consumed their resources and we've destroyed this planet?
Well, think about it. People who are in their teens, and you'll find a number of activists if you go online and you search, they're already blaming us. And in some schools, there are projects going on which educate them. So it's a good start because we people are old. It's difficult to change us. I mean, you can't get me to change my toothpaste, let alone my lifestyle. So the good investment which can be done is on the children. However, the scary part is children, they hear with their eyes.
Yeah, but there is this myth that whatever industrial revolution is going on now and all the development and technologies is done for the next generation. So for the pleasure of the next generation. But at the same time, this is the price that they have to pay, the next generation, for all the gadgets, all the good things that they are enjoying at the moment.
Well, see, Hatim, it brings us back to the same issue. It's the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. What is the price that we're willing to pay for pleasure? Right?
Yeah.
And think about it. Look at the lifestyle of our parents, or for those of us who can remember our grandparents.
Yeah.
They had a better lifestyle. They had a healthier lifestyle. They had less diseases. In most cases, in a lot of cases, they lived longer than us. They were happier than us. That's the most crucial thing.
And actually, they were not really aware of the environment, and they are not very. They are not like us at the moment that we know all this information about the ozone layer and the oceans and all the acidity. So we have the knowledge, but we are not taking action.
Right.
But they didn't have the knowledge, but they took care of the environment.
Exactly. The other thing is they were less selfish than us. They consumed
in what
less.
way?
Well, they consumed less. The family structure was very strong. More people were living together under one roof. I once had an opportunity to attend a talk from a PhD who had come from UK on a visit to Oman. And he said something very interesting. He said, 2 things revolutionized or in a way destroyed the family system in the West. One was the invention of microwave. That's microwave oven.
Okay.
And second was the invention of the pill.
How is that? Elaborate more, please.
You see, before everybody used to sit together and have at least one meal together per day.
Yes.
That brought the hearts closer. We had informal discussions because, you see, whenever you break the bread, there's a certain closeness to the person that are on your table.
Yes.
And as a family, it was a stronger unit. And if a stronger family meanings people living together, as an example, a joint household where you've got mom and dad and, for example, some uncles and, their kids nearby, not necessarily under one roof, but even close by. And what happened was there was a lot of sharing going on.
Yeah.
So as an example, you would be okay with one microwave in a household. Now you need one downstairs and one upstairs. Right? So this has resulted in unnecessary consumption, and with consumption comes waste. I mean, you can get into the realm of, okay, we'll recycle it and we'll do this with it and we'll do that with what's going on. But look at reality, how much junk we are producing.
Yeah. Now, Muhammad, is it too late for us to change, or we still have time to change?
Well, we do have time, and like you mentioned before, our parents didn't have this information. One of the reasons could be because it didn't exist. They were not corrupting the earth the way we are. So that makes us more liable in a way that we know about all these things, And yet, like you said, we're doing very little, or in most cases, we're doing nothing about it. So we need to change ourselves. And
Mohammed, are we being reactionist? Like we're taking action after all the damage has happened? You know, why didn't we think about this in the past?
yeah, you're right. Unfortunately, this is human nature. When something happens, you go and you start trying to find the root cause and how to avoid it and how to do damage control, even though we are taught prevention is better than cure. However, most of us don't look at it this way. Most of us by nature are reactionaries. And this is what we're facing here when it comes to the crucial issue of going green.
Mm. There are many things in life, I think, that make a very big difference. Very small things that we do in our household, maybe at work, that will make a very big difference.
Right.
Now, for example, water resources.
Mhm.
Yeah, the region is suffering from the lack of water resources, but yet we are the most consumers of water resources in the world. Yeah, we consume a lot of water,
Right.
especially when it comes to like for example in ablution.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think many Muslims tend to forget that you can perform the ablution with just one cup of water.
Right.
Yeah, you don't need to waste all that water just to be pure.
Exactly.
So I think we need to do a lot of work when it comes to educating people
Well,
in this term.
you see, Hatim, there is information and technology available.
Mm-hmm.
It all depends on what kind of priority this holds in our hearts and our minds. As an example, when you look at the spiritual dimension, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him,
Peace be upon you.
he has said that don't waste water, even if you are next to a stream,
Mhm.
right? Water, just like everything else, is a limited resource. However, if we implement faucets which throw out water with pressure, less water, more pressure, in all the masjids, this will save tremendous amount of water. The
Yes.
other thing is, in some masjids, you see they've got sensors. You put your hand in front, water comes out. You remove your hand, water stops. So there is some effort going on, but it's more of a self-regulatory kind of a thing. There is no incentive or there is no push from the authorities
Mm.
to actually make this. And by the way, you said water is running out in the region. There's a documentary floating around on the internet. I hope I can catch it after Ramadan. They have proven that the water is going out all over the world. It's just reducing in all the countries, and they have shown where the agriculture land is turning into deserts. Okay, and there's a huge thing that water is depleting in places even as high tech as California.
Mm.
So this is a common problem which the world shares. Now, if we don't know about it or if we don't care about it, that's another thing. But the problem's not going to go away if we just stick our head in the earth.
There's an argument by some people saying that whatever I consume, I pay for it. So I've earned it. So is this right, Muhammad?
No, it's not right.
Is this a right attitude
No,
towards this?
it's not right, and it pains me when I see people washing their cars and, drowning half the neighborhood with their water, or they're just watering their lawns in a reckless way.
Hmm.
And some of them will go as far as, in places where there are fines, they'll say, okay, I'll pay the fine, but I'm still going to do it. So you see, this thing has to become a part of our thinking. It has to become a part of our lifestyle.
Yes.
Enforcing is the last stage, but there should be education, plus there should be initiatives where we have a change of our hearts and mind, and we say, okay, this is what water is a blessing of the Creator, and this is how He wants us to use it. Let's not abuse it.
I think most of the time we don't know the importance of these resources until we lose them.
Correct.
Recently, we've had some challenges with the water resources here in Muscat.
Exactly.
And we had like 2-3 days without water in some of the regions,
Mhm.
and people were really suffering because of that.
Right.
So after that, I think people should be more aware in the consumption of water, should economize in most of the things that
Thank you.
that they do,
Yeah.
and even in planning our houses, I think
Right.
we should go further to that stage, and like we have the small gardens in our house. Okay, so you have gardens for vegetation and you have gardens for like flowers, yeah,
Right.
or plantation. So you can use the proper clean water for the vegetation, yeah, and you can use the water. You have a connection from the kitchen, for example, to use that water, which you can use to irrigate the plants.
Exactly.
Yeah, that will save you a lot of.
What you just mentioned is borderline recycling. It can be done. It is being done at certain places. Again, the thing is, it comes down to educating the masses, and as a last resort, you start regulating it. There are places where they are really encouraging to have solar panels on top of the houses.
Yes.
That reduces your electricity consumption. And whatever happened in Muscat in the recent weeks, in the wake of these water shortages, in certain parts of the city, this should be taken as a wake-up call.
Muhammad, if we continue this way, the way we are at the moment in consuming the resources, what will happen to our planet?
Well, you see, we're already abusing our planet. We're depleting its resources. We're going to hit a place or hit a time when there's going to be nothing left to be abused.
Yes.
So again, appealing to the intellect of the masses, we need to leave something decent for the next generation and the next generation. And a couple of things would really help. Number one is we need to program ourselves to use less. That's where the element of qanaat comes in, or contentment. We should be happy with what we have. So in other words, do less with more.
Okay.
Which is called productivity, or if you want to further stretch the definition, it's called barakah.
Yes.
Okay. So less production is enough. As an example, we don't need to have 5 cars in a house. Our parents didn't have 5 cars in a house.
But again, Muhammad, if someone says that there is no an alternative, like you don't have public transport, so you have to have your own car to go around from one place to another. So should we do the right, how do I say this, to make the right alternatives before, asking people to use less cars and things like that?
Well, Hatem, I'll partially agree with you on this one. While the government figures out how to do public transportation or in terms of railways or efficient bus system, we should not just sit and wait for the government to deliver. At least we can carpool. I'll give you an example. I was in Europe earlier this year, and there's an app you can install. And as an example, if I'm going from Muscat to Salalah over the weekend, I can just go on the app, log in, and see who's going there. Okay? And I can just...
You mean total strangers?
Yeah. Because they're registered over there.
Okay.
And I can contact them and say, hey, he will say, I have so many spaces in my vehicle. This is the vehicle I have. You have to pay only XYZ for the fuel charges.
Okay.
And I can carpool with them. On the other side, I can do the same. If I'm going to Sohar, right, I can put my ad over there. Now, this is a win-win situation.
Yes.
The other person pays, as an example, he shares the charges with you for fuel, and your vehicle is used. So it's good for him and it's good for you as well.
Yes.
So these are things which are already being practiced in certain parts of the world. I'm sure they can be replicated and improved upon here to customize them for the local region.
Even some parts of Europe, you would find people going to work in bicycles.
Right.
Yeah. Of course, the weather is better.
I was going to say, Hatem,
you can do that.
Please don't make us go to office on bikes.
But I think there's always a way. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always a way.
There is, definitely.
You still see people here going to work in motorbikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is less, more consuming of fuel more than cars.
It generates less fuel.
But I think we still have a long way to go.
We do.
So when we say environment, Muhammad, what do we mean by environment?
Well, environment.
What other things are we talking about?
Environment is basically everything, like I said, whether it's living or not. And it's interesting that the current world classifies them on a living and non-living basis. However, and this movement is fairly young. I mean, if we consider 60s or 70s, that's what, like about 50, 60 years. It's not that much of a time in human history. However, if we go towards the teachings of Islam and go back 1436 years back, Islam has taken a very proactive stand on the environment. This is very surprising. There are more than close to 500 ayahs or verses in the Quran which deal with the environment in one way or the other.
Yes.
And our relationship with the environment is defined in a very simple yet effective and strong way. So if we can work on the hearts and minds of the masses, just drawing their attention to the fact that, hey, this is all these resources are a gift from the Creator, and by the way, this is how He wants us to use them, then I'm sure that majority of the people would self-regulate themselves, and minimum government intervention would be required.
Yes, I think the beauty of Islam is that it's a way of life, so it regulates every single aspect of your life, and you just have to follow the teachings from the divine to be able to be on the right track. And you can see in the past, in the prophetic tradition, that the Prophet, peace be upon him, used to consume very little.
Exactly.
Yeah, in some of them say that when he passed away, he did not leave anything to be inherited.
Right.
So this shows you the amount of being down to earth, and how they consumed very little. They only consumed what they need. Some of the traditions of the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that maybe for 2 or 3 months the Prophet, peace be upon him, did not have fire in his house, so they did not cook.
Right.
They consumed only dates and water.
Exactly.
So I think if we have that approach, that very positive approach towards this environment, that we are responsible as everyone else on this planet to preserve these blessings.
Right.
I wouldn't call it environment, Muhammad. I would call it blessings, because it is a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Right.
And if it wasn't for the laws that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had ordained on this planet, then we would have total chaos.
Exactly.
In terms of the oceans and the heavens and the earthquakes and all these things.
Definitely.
And I think we are disturbing a lot of the ecosystem.
Yeah.
That's why we're having most of the calamities now.
Yeah, you see, everything is in balance and harmony. So whenever you do a cause somewhere, there's an effect somewhere else. And you mentioned something very nice, that they took care of, like Muhammad peace be upon him and his companions in the early generations. They focused on their needs.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we focus on our wants.
Yes.
There's a huge difference. So as an example, if we dig a little bit deeper into the sayings of the Quran, which is the divine revelation for the whole mankind, not only for Muslims, and which is the verbatim word of the Creator, let's see what He says about His creation. First of all, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the creation of the environment. And this is in chapter 40, verse 57, where it says, the creation of the heavens and earth is greater than the creation of mankind, but most of the people do not know. The second step is, He tells us where we come from. So it says, have those who disbelieve not considered that the heavens and earth were a joint entity, and we separated them and made from water every living thing. Then will they not believe? This is chapter 21, verse 30. So we have all come from water. Water conservation should be our top priority. The next thing is that we were made the ambassadors on this planet. Okay? What that means is we were given authority. However, with the authority, comes responsibility.
Yes.
And immediately with the responsibility comes accountability. You can't be just scot-free to create havoc without any questioning. And if we look at the verse number 30 of chapter 2, it says, and mention, O Muhammad, peace be upon him, when your Lord said to the angels, indeed I will make upon the earth a successive authority. Well, that's you and I. That's the humans. They said, will you place upon it one who causes corruption therein and sheds blood, while we declare your praise and sanctify you? Allah said, indeed I know that which you do not know. Now this is a conversation going on between God Almighty and the angels, and it has been recorded in Quran for you and I to recite and ponder upon till the day of judgment. And the next thing is, immediately after that, God Almighty is telling us all the things are created to serve us. Okay? Since we are His ambassador, He just didn't leave us here. He gave us guidance, plus all these things He made for us.
All these resources.
All these resources. This is verse number 65 from chapter 22. It says, do you not see that Allah has subjected to you whatever is on the earth, and the ships would run through the sea by His command, and He restrains the sky from falling upon the earth, unless by His permission. Indeed, Allah to the people is kind and merciful.
Yes.
So whatever resources we are enjoying, this is actually a blessing from Him. This shows His mercy. This shows His kindness. However, we have been given warnings also. That, okay, I've given all these things, they're at your disposal. This is how you're supposed to consume them. And if you don't, look what will happen.
Well, actually, Muhammad, we have been given the responsibility, but we are not as responsible as we should be.
Unfortunately,
we are among all creations, we are the most the most that cause damage to this environment. Maybe, Muhammad, can we share some examples of how we damage this environment today in terms of the animal kingdom, of the plantation, of the ocean and the ozone layer and things like that?
Well, the ozone layer issue, since it has been discovered, is just getting worse. If you look at the the animal kingdom, there are...
Well, again, Muhammad, what is happening to the ozone layer? What is causing this damage to the ozone layer?
Well, they talk about harmful emissions and CFCs and other things. Again, they are related to our lifestyles. Things which are injected in our refrigerators and the ACs, and in a way they are related to overconsumption. Now, there is work going on in the realms of science to have better alternatives, where we are looking at the other thing is the fossil fuels, the oil and gas, and we've been burning this stuff for decades.
Yeah.
And now the world is forced to look into electric vehicles and solar homes and wind energy and things of this nature. Okay. So it's late, but still it's worth it, and we need to throw our weight behind such initiatives.
Okay, Muhammad would like to remind our listeners that they can join today's topic, which is going green. But after this short break, inshallah, our number is 2460-2058, 2460-2058.
Want to win a car with all the features you ever wanted? The Geely Immigrant 7 can be yours. Just SMS your name, location, and say that one thing you like it the most about Geely, and you could become the lucky winner to win one. Send your SMS to 9944440666 today.
When I step into my bank, I like a warm and friendly welcome.
When I avail of a service, I expect quick transactions.
When I'm banking, I look for products designed around my needs.
At Bank Sohar, our journey towards service excellence begins with you. We are committed to facilitating your goals with customized products and prompt assistance, marking your journey with remarkable milestones. Make a difference to your banking experience with Bank Sohar. Call 24730000 today.
Let us take you on a spiritual journey through our voice this Ramadan in Life as It Is. Explore opportunities and tranquility with the young voices of tomorrow on the Nation Station 90.4 FM from Saturday to Thursday, 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. Engineer Muhammad Farouk, Janab Al-Saida, Maya Al-Said, Ahmed Al-Matani, and Hatim Al-Abdus Salam. Call us on 246-02058 or text us at 90406 to explore your potentials like never before. This Ramadan, here on the Nation Station.
Show Life as It Is from me, Hatim Al-Absalam, and engineer Muhammad Farouk, and today's topic is going green. We were just discussing about some of the examples of how damage we are causing, how much damage we are causing to our environment. And recently, Muhammad, I was just reading about something that really disturbed me. There is a festival coming very, very, very soon, which is called the Dog Eating Festival. yeah, which is happening somewhere in Asia. And many activists around the world are, very concerned about this because it is a belief in that society that if you eat the dogs, then it will chase the evil spirits away.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, the consumption of dogs and how they are brutally being killed is something that is of a concern to every human being, because as you said in the beginning that we are custodians on this earth, so we should take care of this earth and we should make sure that everything is up to place. We have our first caller for today. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Sister Rumaitha, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm doing very well. How are you?
Fine, thank you. We're very honored to have you on the show in today's topic, and I believe today's topic is of importance, and you are the right person to talk about it.
Thank you so much for giving me the honor to actually speak about something that I'm very passionate about.
Rumaitha, we understand that you have visited the South Pole.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes earlier. Can you tell us about this experience? Why did you go there in the first place, and what did you see, and what are the learnings that you got from this journey?
Well, the main reason that I actually went there, this was going to the South Pole, was actually a 6-year dream. I stumbled upon some facts about the Antarctic back when I was doing my master's in the Netherlands, and it kind of struck a chord in me to know more about the Antarctic. So I started reading more about it, and that's when I kind of made up my mind that if I wanted to kind of defend the environment and speak about the planet and going green, then I actually have to witness something of what's happening in the South Pole firsthand for me to actually explain to everyone else what's going on in the world. So that was the main reason for me to go there. And once I actually stepped foot in the Antarctic, it's an experience that I don't know if words are actually enough to explain how the feeling I actually felt the moment I stepped foot there.
That's why, Rumaitha, we want you to be our ambassador and tell us what happened there and what did you see. Because I'm sure most of the Omanis have never, or most of the people have never been to the South Pole. But you have been there, so you can tell us what you saw.
Yeah, so what I basically saw there was signs of what we are actually doing here in our normal lives that is affecting the South Pole. Like, we had moments where we just sat quiet and just had moments of reflection. And that's when I actually found out for the first time in my life what silence actually means, because silence over here, with everything going around and being in a busy life, we don't really kind of appreciate what silence is and what reflection is. So once we were reflecting there, you could listen to icebergs breaking off, and you see firsthand avalanches happening right in front of your eyes. And you do actually see how the melting of the glaciers is actually affecting the penguins, for instance, who actually don't have much more spaces for them to kind of live, and they have to move elsewhere because of things that we are actually doing in our environments that is affecting them. So that actually struck a chord, and that actually is the message that I want to bring back, that we need to change as an individual and make a change, because yes, we can go to governments and convince them as much as we can, but we can make a difference as well as an individual to stop what's happening there, because the Antarctic has 90% of the supply of fresh water. It has 95% of the supply of fresh ice in the world, and we're not doing anything, or we're not doing much, or as much as we can to stop what's happening there.
Now, Rumaitha, normal people would think that how can the small things that I do in our life, like, for example, leaving the electricity on, the lights on during the day, even though I'm not at home, how can this affect the South Pole or the North Pole? So can you explain how the amount of damage that we are causing with these small little things that we think that they are not very important?
Exactly. Now, it's quite easy to be overwhelmed with a lot of things when we hear about going green, and there's a lot of tips to do. But it's quite simple to actually begin by making a positive impact, and that's by looking as to why you actually have to go green. And that's by looking at globalization, because globalization makes the world smaller, and it makes it easier to see how lives are affected with it. So leaving your lights open, for instance, or using a lot of fuel, for instance, or consuming a lot of fuel when you can actually, all carpools actually affect the environment because you are using a lot of carbon dioxide that goes into the air. Leaving the power open might not affect, and you might think that it's not something that is going to affect you. But if you look at the power plants that are actually generating electricity for you, the majority of the electricity in the world is using coal that is burning and affecting our air, and we have no clue whatsoever. All we think about is our power supply. So if we think about that and think about the carbon dioxide and the fossil fuels that we're burning that is affecting the air, and that heat is the main reason why the glaciers are warming up, and that's the main reason why we tend to have different weather circumstances. Like, for instance, we have Cyclone Gono that happened, Fet that happened, and it's all because of the ice caps in the mountains that are decreasing, which, I mean, the air pressure and the things around the environment gets affected very well by it, and that's why we actually see these impacts.
Now, Rumaitha, I will ask you a very important question. How aware as a society here in Oman do you think we are? And are we doing enough?
We're not doing enough, in my opinion. And I think we all have to kind of go back to our roots and look at our teachings of our grandparents. If we all look at our teachings of our grandparents, they would all say, pick up after yourself and clean after yourself. We are in a society right now that we don't do that. We tend to kind of depend on the health and just throw things on the road and say, well, we're paying municipal workers, the government is paying for municipal workers to clean after us. That's not the case. We actually have to go back to those early teachings of cleaning after ourselves. And not only that, the religion of Islam and the Quran and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has always said that we are in a ni'mah.
Yes.
And we are blessed with these things, and we really take it for granted. And most people, once they go and see other situations in other places, in other countries, that's when it actually comes, a light bulb kind of strikes in your head that you actually are in a blessing and you actually have to take care of it. So if we go back to these teachings, I think we can do more.
So Rumaitha, what is the message that you want to send out there to the young people of Oman? Do you encourage them to go to such journeys to the South Pole?
I would say yes. Life is an adventure. If you don't take it as an adventure, then you haven't lived. So do as much as you can to explore the world, but in the same time, every single thing that you do every day also has an impact. And an individual has the power to control most choices, and therefore you actually create impact as you move on.
Okay, Rumaitha, now every journey starts with a step. So the purpose of our program is to educate people and to show them the way forward. So can you give us some of the small tips that any individual person can do to save the environment or to contribute to the environment?
Yeah, okay. A simple one would be going to an ATM machine and not print out your receipt. You are saving paper that way, and the receipt is not going to help you in any other way, because nowadays we are in such a tech environment that we get everything and every single notification through our phones.
Yes.
But if you go to ATMs, you see bins that are filled with paper, for instance, that is not necessary. So avoid doing that. That's one. Another one is reducing the electricity that you're using and the power that you're using, and stop using the standby button and the red button. Just switch off everything. In that way, you're actually gaining in the sense that you're not paying much for electricity, and in the same time, you're reducing the load that your country and your power plant is producing to supply your power supply. And at the same time, we have to keep in mind, for instance, water is not a renewable source. We are lucky and blessed to have fresh water, fresh, clean water, but other places don't. So we actually have to be very economical when it comes to water resources and water usage. Those are very few tips that you can simply use every day, and believe me, that makes an impact.
Thank you very much, Rumaitha. You've been an asset to the program, and I'm sure our listeners have noted down the tips that you gave us. And inshallah, we're looking forward to see Oman more green and people being more aware in this. Do you allow me to say something, Rumaitha? That I would request people like you to have seminars and to have talks with young people to educate them more, because you've been there and you've tried it and you're knowledgeable now in this area, so they would listen more to you. So I would advise, please do encourage young people in public places.
And
Inshallah. Thank you very much for having me on.
Thank you. Sister, one more quick thing. It would be really nice if you can share some of your content on our Facebook page, which is for this radio show, Life as It Is. And this way, the listeners who are tuned in right now and the others who have not had the opportunity to be here online, on air, what they can do is they can go to Facebook page and they can see your efforts and what's the value that you have been contributing to the local landscape.
Inshallah, I'll definitely do that.
Jazakallah.
Thank you so much, Rumaitha. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So what do you think, Mohammed?
Well, this is wonderful. What she talked about the environment, she is one of the few lucky ones who actually had an opportunity to view these things, by herself. So this is all first-hand information. Others are not that lucky. The thing is, she was talking about the environment, and it's interesting that initially in the beginning of the program I mentioned that science classifies everything in the world as living and non-living.
Yes.
However, if you look at it from a spiritual dimension, as per the teachings of Islam, it's mentioned in Quran in a number of different places that all objects glorify the Almighty Creator.
Yes.
As an example, there's multiple places. I'll just mention one, which is chapter 59, verse number 1. Whatsoever is in the heavens and on the earth glorifies God. And then another place, which is chapter 55, verse number 6, it says the stars and the trees prostrate.
Yes.
Okay.
So everything is a living being.
If you look at it from a spiritual angle, you see the thing is, everybody, including you and I, are thankful to our Creator.
Yes.
Are thankful to the one who shows us mercy. And there's a hadith saying of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that whoever is not thankful to them, to his fellow humans, is not thankful to the Almighty Creator.
Yes.
So as an example, even if you offer me a meal or a glass of water, I'll be like, thank you very much. This is so kind of you. You're so nice. Can I do something for you? Right? Why can't we take this same formula and take it to a higher level and think about the Almighty Creator, what all He has given us, and how He's asking us to use these blessings. So this will make everything much better.
Okay, we have a call. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
This is Azan.
Azan, how are you?
Welcome, my dear.
How are you?
Fine. It's nice to hear your voice again.
Yeah, nice to speak to you again.
Tell us, Azan, what do you think of going green?
I have a few comments. First of all, I totally agree with what Madame Rumaitha said.
Yes.
Regarding of going green and how to basically to care about the environment.
Mm-hmm.
However, I have some certain points which might be negative, and I also have a fun factor as well.
Okay.
Wonderful.
We are open to all ideas.
Yeah. Hatem, basically we have in the society, in the Oman society, we have the intention.
We have what?
We have the initiative.
Initiative.
We have the positive intention regarding going green.
Yes.
Yeah, and we have the initiative because basically, I mean, it's been driven by the young generation who actually believe in for the environment to go green.
Yes.
Which is really good. Yeah. However, it's been executed really, really badly. I mean, there's no any proper planning. There's no any process or clear framework for it.
So what you're saying is the intention is there and the efforts are there, but they are not really organized.
The initiative is there, but it's not been planned correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if I can just share about my experience.
Yes.
Basically, the company started this initiative to collect bottle caps.
Yes.
Water bottle caps.
Plastic water caps, yeah?
Yes. And basically, they the company initiated it, people agreed, and the departments in the company started collecting them.
Yes.
However, it just started accumulating with them when we don't know what to do with them.
So no one is collecting
they have
them.
the mean, but they don't know how to do it.
You see, Azan, in some places, what they do is the empty bottles, when you bring them back, they give you little bit money. It's very little, but still it's money. And it has worked. People collect this stuff and they take it to a collection point and they get a little bit X amount of money and they feel good about it.
Mr. Mohammed Farouk, the thing is we don't know where to go. I already contacted several people, including Dar al-Afa and already people who started this initiative. However, they don't know what to do because basically the volunteers who transferred or who picked up these caps, they stopped working.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, It started as a voluntary, but then they stopped. They don't know. I mean, I don't think there is any incentive or any reimbursement or any motivation actually for these volunteers to do it.
So Azan, let me ask you, Azan,
Yes,
why don't we take an initiative ourselves and go one step ahead? Like, for example, contacting the Environmental Society of Oman. Maybe they are expert in this.
They're very hard to reach.
They're very hard to reach.
They are not publicly known.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the contact which I got is actually through either WhatsApp or through known social organization, like, for example, Dar al-Afa, donation centers.
Yes.
But the thing is, they don't know what to do with them.
Have you visited their website?
They take them to Ma'bela, and some of them they say they take them to Braini, and some of them they say they take them to Sharqa and UAE.
So there is a confusion on how to consume these recycled material. So you're collecting them, but you don't know where to send them, what to do with them.
Exactly. That's my point.
Yeah.
There is the intention. People are doing it, but there's no any clear concept of what's going to happen next. So basically, what I'm saying is there should be a clear framework where you started with stage 1. This will happen, this will happen, this will happen, and then you just, this is the end result.
You're absolutely right.
You have the mean and you have the way.
Do you have a representative for the environment in your organization, Azan?
No, we don't.
You don't have.
Just like a self initiative. People just thought about it and they thought, oh, it's a great idea, and then we started it. However, there is no anybody who's taking responsibility.
Yes.
And it's self-initiative. And the problem, Hati, with self-initiative, it started in a good intention, but afterwards, it's becoming a burden.
Yes, because you have all these bottle caps.
A lot of organizations have HSC departments.
Yes.
However, I do agree that a lot more can be done. It's a good start. I agree with Azan. The intentions were nice. However, the execution needs to be improved upon.
But actually, Muhammad, this will discourage people from doing any other initiative. If the first initiative, then no one is the focal point to collect these and send them to the right places.
See, this is the point we discussed earlier. When you have situations like this, unfortunately, we look at regulation. Initially, it's nice, but later on it becomes over-regulation and burden, and cost is associated with it. That's why I still hope and pray that through education and through initiatives like, as an example, this episode of the program and other events, and going out to different schools and universities and getting the relevant organizations involved, some kind of a self-regulatory, self-working infrastructure can be set up instead of going to the government and saying, okay, people are wasting too much water, so you put fines on them. Or people are generating just way too much garbage, and it's putting so much burden on the government financially, so you do X, Y, Z. All right. So I still hope, and Azan has brought up a very good point over here. I hope more people would get involved like him and try to find a solution amongst ourselves.
Okay, Azan will take one step ahead as an initiative. We are announcing now to all our listeners, whoever knows where we can send these water caps for recycling, please contact us through the program, and we will forward this information to
other people, because I know other people who actually suffering the same thing.
Yes.
They have the intention, they are collecting, but they don't know how to process it.
Inshallah.
And the same thing concept with the paperless environment.
Yes.
People don't know what to do with. How to do it, and it's not clear to them the concept.
Yes.
And they're still struggling.
Well, see, before the program, we even posted on the Facebook page that if relevant individuals from the organizations like Hatem mentioned ESO and the others, if they can call us or even post their their feedback on the page, even after the show, it would be wonderful, because the idea
people can go there and find out more about
we
the
want
initiatives.
We want the society to benefit. We want people to know, number one, such initiatives are there. And second, we want people to put their heads together and brainstorm and see how we can improve them.
I believe that the volunteers, they should get some sort of incentive, whether financially or morally or something. I mean, they need
support.
They need something. They need something to be pushed towards the goal.
Yeah, what I've seen is, and I'll talk about my children, that in the school, in some of the schools, they take them out to like the beach cleaning initiative kind of a thing. Yeah. So number one, it's a great outing. Number two, this is burnt in their memory that beach is their responsibility and they should not generate trash. As a matter of fact, even if it's somebody else's trash, they need to go pick it up, because Allah will reward them and it's good for the environment, and leave a nice place for the next batch of people who are going to visit. So there is some limited activity going on the academic level in this institutes. But I do agree with you that the corporates, the government bodies, and people at large, they just need to get together, give this top priority.
It should become mandatory, like an HSC thing. Should become a mandatory concept.
You see, Azan, it's easy to make something mandatory. Again, the challenge is to implement it. And that's what brings me back to my earlier point, that it would be just wonderful if people self-regulate themselves instead of some external authority dictating to them.
Out of their own will.
Yeah.
Mentioning this, we would like to salute all the volunteers at Clean Oman initiative, which was started by, I think, Mr. Nasser Al-Kindi. So that is also a very good initiative that has been going on for many years, and they are doing very good work. Azan, you had something else you wanted to share with us? Something funny?
No, I'm all right.
You're all right, yeah?
Yeah, I'm all right.
All right. Thank you so much for calling, Azan. And inshallah, we hope to hear from anyone through the show regarding the water caps, how we can recycle them.
Yeah, please.
Thank you, Azan. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Something just struck me, and perhaps you can add something more to this.
Yes.
In terms of the environment, I understand there is a 1 million date palm tree initiative in Oman, which is currently underway.
Yes.
Most people don't know about it, but it is being executed.
Yes.
So hopefully this will have some kind of a better impact in terms of, number one, it's a food supply, and number two, it will improve the environment as well.
Yes. I think we have a call. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. I think we lost the call.
All right.
Okay, let us take a short break and come back after the break.
Want to win a car with all the features you ever wanted? The Geely Immigrant 7 can be yours. Just SMS your name, location, and say that one thing you like it the most about Geely, and you could become the lucky winner to win one. Send your SMS to 99444 today.
Ramadan, the time of spiritual reflection and worship, a time of patience, humility, self-discipline, and submissiveness to God. During the holy month, Radio Sultanate of Oman 90.4 FM takes you on a journey from spiritual reflection and enlightenment to family entertainment. Join us all day and all night long here on the Nation Station.
Dear listeners, welcome back to your program Life as It Is from me, Hatem Al-Absalam, and engineer Muhammad Farouk. We're talking about going green today, and I believe we have tons of calls now, so let us take the first call. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you, Ahmed?
I'm doing great.
You're always on
I
time.
kept my promise, after 2.
Yeah, but it's not even 2. But go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It's all right. Go ahead.
Not bad. Anyway, I just wanted, first of all, I'd like to thank you for the very interesting episode. I've learned so much, just listening to you guys.
Thank you.
And from the listeners as well, the callers. It just has, like a long time ago, I came across an article talking about, why people not going green. Okay?
Yes.
And one of the things that they mentioned is that, people are brainwashed.
Okay. In what sense?
And also they mentioned something also about the idea of that a lot of people think that their actions do not make a big difference.
Correct.
When it comes to solving the problem.
Yes.
So I would really appreciate if you can elaborate more, on these 2 reasons why people sort of not opting, going green.
Okay, inshallah, we'll address this issue. Ahmed will just take the other calls.
Okay.
Thank you, Ahmed. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, what do you think, before we take the next call, Mohammed, what do you think of this, what Ahmed said?
Ahmed is correct. We often say, okay, well, what difference will it make if only I make the change? Or why doesn't the other person do it? Or, I'll do it, nobody else will do it. Well, think about it. The rain is a collection of water drops. So if the first drop thinks, what impact will I make, right? Then what's the use of having rain?
And actually, we are asked as believers to do our part.
Exactly.
Yeah, not to look at others.
Exactly. I absolutely agree with you, because we will be asked what we were doing. We will not be asked what the other person was doing. And there's a very nice hadith of Muhammad, peace be upon him, now that you mentioned. He has mentioned, if the hour, that is the day of resurrection, is about to be established, and one of you was holding a palm shoot, means you were about to plant a tree.
Yes.
Let him take advantage of even 1 second before the hour is established to plant it. Yes. This is a wonderful hadith, and this is the reply to what Ahmed was looking for.
Yes. We have a call, our second guest for today, Sayyida Natasha Al Saeed. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Ramadan Mubarak.
Ramadan Mubarak to you as well. I hope Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept your good deeds, inshallah.
Yes, inshallah.
It's an honor to have you, Sayyida Natasha, on the show, and you are a pioneer in an initiative, and we want everyone to know about the initiative that you have. It's the first in the Middle East, and I will hand over the mic to you to tell us about it, because you're the expert in it.
Yes, we can.
Go ahead.
All right. We currently the project that we're working on is Our Planet International School, Muscat. It is the first school based on sustainability, not only in Oman, but in the Middle East, as you said.
Yes.
At the school, we are currently aiming to foster a multicultural and inquiry-led learning environment, both in English and in Arabic, that promotes sustainability and celebrates Oman's unique cultural identity. We have classes from KG up to grade 3 currently. We are also one of the first schools in Oman offering Arabic as a first and a second language from KG.
MashaAllah.
So we find it's very important that even those who are coming to visit have an opportunity to learn our language.
If I may ask you, Sayyida Natasha, how did the idea first come to your mind? How did you start this initiative? And why did you start it?
I think, currently I have a nursery, Teddy's Nursery, and we kind of started using it on a small basis, asking parents to bring in their leftover Lebanon boxes or the milk cartons for us to use during our arts and crafts. But it was actually one of my cousins who went to school at Imperial College with one of his colleagues from Germany who was very interested in the educational system. So when he came to visit Oman, he thought, this is a beautiful country, and he was very much into education and thought, what about sustainability? What do you guys do here in Oman, sustainability?
Yes.
And I think with regards, I think we have the Ministry of Environment, and we have Environmental Society as well. I think other than that, I don't think students were very much aware of what sustainability is or what we can do to kind of help.
And not only students, even a lot of adults don't know. Yeah.
Even grown-ups. So, so we address the issues at our planet, not where we are at place and time, but in addition, we take part in world topics, which are areas usually neglected in the traditional educational system, but critical for today's world, and the 21st century in terms of competence development. For example, the earthquake in Nepal, the children were also aware of what happened to what was happening going on in Nepal, so they had a kind of like awareness in the school and in the classroom, and they were able to make up money which they donated to the Nepal embassy.
This is very important, Sayyida Natasha, as you keep the kids connected to the rest of the world.
In today's issues, which are very important. There's some countries which are less fortunate, so it's not only about what we're doing here in Oman, but also how can we help others in achieving the same goals.
What are some of the activities that the children do at your school, Sayyida Natasha?
Well, our school, we currently run on, it's the theme of sustainability. So it's embedded in our project-based learning through the units of inquiry. So we run on the 3 R's with the areas which is reuse, reduce, and recycle. And
reuse, can you repeat that again, please? Sayyida Natasha, can you repeat that again, the 3 R's?
Okay, sorry. Yeah, the 3 R's is reuse, reduce, and recycle.
Okay, that's great.
So these are the 3 main R's that we kind of integrate into our school curriculum. We currently are using the IB, which is project-based, where children have a better ability and time to actually not only understand what a unit is about, but they, after the unit, they have a full understanding of the subject matter. So they study it for 6 weeks. So it's trying to create children, after 6 weeks of studying a certain topic, their general knowledge is above general knowledge.
How about they exhibit? How do you say that? Accept. How do the children accept the?
Oh, they're fantastic, because with the children and the parents, what we have done is, for example, we have set up a recycling center at the school.
Yeah.
Where parents and children bring in all their materials from home that they're not used, so no wastage. All of that is integrated into our arts and crafts within the classroom area. For example, I can tell you the children created. We call her Millie. She is. They completed a beautiful mosaic, which is called the Million-Year Turtle, and this is because it's made out of plastic bottle tops.
Oh, mashallah.
For example,
we were just talking about that at the moment. We had a caller, Azan.
We have lots of turtles live along the coast, and they digest these bottle tops.
Yeah.
So this was a tribute to the Omani turtles.
MashaAllah. I don't know if you have an idea about the bottle tops. As we had a caller who's Azan, he was asking about how these bottle tops, how are they recycled, or where can they send them? Because they started this initiative.
You can bring them over to our school. We're located in Madinat Qaboos.
You're in Madinat Qaboos.
In Shrah Street, exactly. We're just opposite Sarouj. So even if you have things from home, or anyone who's near the area can actually come and walk in and just drop it, because our recycle center is just in front of the school. It's on our compound. We use it for a lot of art because, the bottle tops actually don't biodegrade for, I think, for approximately 1,000 years. So that's a long time in terms of, pollution. So we use it for a lot of mosaic arts at the school.
So they can come and drop these bottle tops at your school?
Yes.
Where about in Madinat Qaboos?
We're in El Shrah Street, so we're just right next to the French Omani Center.
Okay.
So on the same road as British Council.
Is there any affiliation between your school and the Ministry of Environment or the Environment Society of Oman?
Currently no. We're currently on our 2nd year. This year is where we would like to kind of have. We did have an affiliation with Environmental Society of Oman. We conducted our first Eco Summit in the school, where we invited students from other local private schools. And we gave, our children actually gave the workshop to their children, as in how to help and be sustainable with things that you can bring in from your house. And however small the contribution is, it is a big contribution for the survival of the planet. So that was actually very successful.
Okay.
We had the president who came in, who gave in a lecture, and then the students then would go back to school to see how they would be able to implement something similar to what we're doing at the school. schools.
MashaAllah. Sayyidah Natasha, do you have a website that people can go and log in and find out
yes,
more about
we do.
the initiatives
If you
of
look
your
in
school?
Our Planet International School, Muscat.
Our Planet International School of Muscat?
Well, Muscat. I can give you the complete address. Is www.ourplanet.
Our Planet as one word?
Yes, it's one word.
Okay.
Muscat.com.
.com.
And then you would be able to see a lot of things, how they have, for example, we're celebrating Earth Day, we're celebrating Water Day. The children do research on different on different things that they're doing around the world. For example, we started composting at school, so the kids were actually very excited because our new compost bin was made out of reused pallets.
MashaAllah.
And we were thinking, well, we're recycling paper and plastic. Why don't we recycle food and turn it into soil?
MashaAllah,
So the idea is we started that. So the kids were actually quite fascinated how the eggshells, the toilet paper, the cover, and how all of that would turn into soil so that they can use for the plants.
Sayyidah Natasha, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant you blessings in this big effort. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give you the energy to have more branches all over the Sultanate, inshallah.
Well,
yes, we look forward. We'd like everyone to participate because it's not about educating of the students. It's also about educating the community and further on.
I have a request. If you can conduct some kind of like an open house and invite students from other schools, that would be just wonderful.
But that's what we did in our Eco Summit.
Okay.
That's when we had our Eco Summit, we did invite children from other schools so that they actually see what we did. So we had quite a few. We had about 4 or 5 schools who came. It was our first one. We're only on our second year. So we're planning on, increasing the number to make it a more awareness. Because it starts with the students. They tend to be more rigorous than the parents
now
in terms of rules.
For sure, now I know where to send my son when he starts school,
we're
inshallah.
Forward. We're accepting all.
Inshallah. Thank you very much, Sayyidah Natasha, for your contribution. And we've really learned a lot from this experience. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make this a success and to continue this journey.
Ameen. Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
All right. This was just wonderful. To answer Ahmed, what can one person do and what difference will it make?
Yeah.
This school is the answer.
Yes.
You got to start somewhere. You can't just give up, and you just can't say, well,
And don't ignore the effort that one person can do.
Exactly.
Yeah, a lot of examples in the past that one person made a very big difference in the entire world.
Change always comes from one or few people, and generally from young people. Like when we started the show, we mentioned that this green movement, it started by students.
Yes. So we have another call. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah. How are you both?
Fine. Is this Maya?
It is Maya.
We've missed you today.
Thanks for being here virtually. We miss you here.
I've been listening to you guys. MashaAllah, great show and great energy from the callers, great suggestions, MashaAllah. However, I have just one comment.
Yes.
I think it was Azan who said people need an incentive.
Right.
I tend to disagree with that.
Yes.
The incentive is our life, is the earth that we live in. That should be an incentive to make it better for ourselves and for our children. We don't need mandatory incentives to think, okay, bring in, recycled items will pay you a riyal. No, we don't. We need to do this for us and for our children and the future of our country and our world that we live in.
Yeah, maybe I think Azan thought for the young people to start off getting them into track to encourage them. But of course, there is difference of opinions.
I agree to you up to a certain degree. However, we see here in our neighborhoods that people, they collect these soda cans.
Soda cans.
The reason they're investing their time in this is, surprisingly enough, this is their livelihood. And
they earn a living.
Exactly. And the thing is, educating the people, the masses, is one end of the spectrum. However, we will get a point where we'll say, okay, as an example, 40% or 60% of the people are self-regulating. What about the other 40? So either you provide them some kind of an incentive, or you have government regulation. So you can take your pick, or you can have both. So most of us, most of us.
Another thing we could do, sorry.
Go ahead, please.
Another thing we could do is create more awareness.
Right.
So people understand that if I'm doing this, what am I impacting?
Exactly.
Let them know what part of the bigger picture they are.
Exactly.
How do they contribute these small things, something like what Ahmed referred to? What are they, they do bring something, What are they doing?
Yes,
How
yeah.
is it impacting?
Exactly. You
For
appeal.
example, clean after yourself on the beach and don't leave plastic bags or don't throw them in the sea. You're saving fish. You're saving the creature that lives in the sea. So there are these things maybe that we should think about, or the youngsters actually can take an initiative of creating awareness, educating themselves, educating the community on all the different things that they could do that would help us living in a better world.
I agree with you. We should not jump towards regulation. We should go through education first, give us fair enough time to see the results. As these kids, these wonderful kids grow up and it's implemented in their DNA how they have to protect the environment. And second thing is, we see how the self-regulation goes. We incentivize it wherever it's needed. And then as a last resort, we implement regulation. Now, granted, we don't have unlimited time on doing this, but somebody has to work out a formula. And taking the turtle example one step forward, the same thing is going on with when we do this the desert crossing here. One of the biggest thing is picking up every single piece of trash and bringing it back with us. So if we keep the desert the way it is, the way we found it, that's exactly the way we leave it. And Hatim and me, we have a friend of ours. He's a human rights activist. He's based out of Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. And he is dedicating his time and his energy and his resources to protect the camels out there. And he was sharing with us how detrimental and fatal it is if we leave these plastic bags and the camels eat them. It's just horrible what happens to them. So
this is what the public needs to know.
Exactly.
By doing this, what are the impacts? And what do we end up saving? How do we contribute? I think this, inshallah, will bring
definitely
the incentive that the population needs.
I agree. I remember I was based in another country when I was very young, and I remember there used to be small ads on prime time. Showing about one guy is doing a wudu and he's got the tap open on the full and the water is just, splashing all over the place. And then they show another guy, he's just washing his car. And then they show somebody else that the guy is trying to sleep in the house and somebody is honking outside. Yeah. So unfortunately, even these common sense things, they need to be revisited. I agree with you. Educating the people through all mediums which are available, be it radio, be it TV, be it internet or events that take place in conjunction with other big events. So somebody has to be there and present this side of the house. And if you talk to, as an example, 10 people or let's say 100 people visit you, even if 60 become believers or 50 becomes believer, this is amazing because you see all the changes in the world. Leaders are very few. 80-90% of us are just followers. So somebody or some few people have to take an initiative, and you'll see that every change, good, bad, or ugly in the history of the world was always initiated by a few leaders.
That's true. You've summed it up beautifully. That's all I had to say.
Thank you very much, Maya.
Thank you so much, and look forward to hearing to the rest of the show.
Inshallah. Thank you so much.
Well,
Thank you so much. I think, Muhammad, it's very, very important to start from home. Yeah?
Hatim.
If every single one of us holds on to their kids and have at least 5 minutes talk every single day about the importance of energy, the importance to sustain the resources that we have in this environment, to tell them about how to preserve water, how to not leave the lights on if they're not using the room. Very small things. Yeah, you educate your children. They grow up and become very responsible citizens.
See, Hatim, I would like to take this one step further. You've said something wonderful. But however, when we talk about hearts and minds, let's take it one step ahead and try to tell the people, especially children, that this is what the Creator wants from us.
Yes.
And then it will create a better impact.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you, brother?
Mahmoud with you once again, Mr. Ahmed. How are you?
It's nice always to hear your voice, brother.
Welcome.
Alhamdulillah, thank you very much. Well, it's a very nice topic and very, very important for us and all over the globe as well as Alhamdulillah for this one. What I wanted to share is with my, when we were in India, we used to have campaigns for planting trees.
Yes.
When we are in school days or college days. And we used to get a lot of free plants from the organization. They used to give it. But here we never see any kind of planting campaigns, like to do plantations.
Yes, you're absolutely right. I'm not aware, really.
Actually, I would like to bring our attention to the same initiative that I mentioned. There's a million date palm tree initiative which is underway. However, I do agree with the brother who just called that this needs to be shared with other people.
With the public.
Yeah, it's a huge thing which is going on in Oman in different places. Most people don't know.
Yes.
Even I found out through one of my friends who's actually part of the project.
You're absolutely right, Brother Mahmoud, and I think the public should be more involved in such initiatives to encourage them to sustain this environment.
Yeah. See, everyone do not have space to plant a date tree. Even they can have a normal tree. We can do shade tree also.
Yes,
right.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
And not only that, again, some people say that we are living in the flat, we do not have space. Okay, fine, keep it a pot, small pot with a plant, and teach the children that you have to grow the trees.
I agree with you, yeah. I mean, I've tried growing tomatoes in my house, and my kids were so excited. And I know a lot of people who have grown different plants, including date plant, on the rooftops of their homes. So not having a proper yard is not an excuse.
It's not an excuse.
Yes.
Nowadays, if you go...
And
yes.
in the idea, I can just tell us, where we can tell our friends that where the people can get plants free of cost, and we can educate. At least sometimes people say that who would know to invest.
I think if I'm not mistaken, the municipality, Muscat municipality, has a special section for plants and trees, and they have contracts with these farms that distribute the trees. And I think if you go to them and ask them for a few trees, they wouldn't say no.
Here in Dorset, you mean to say that?
In Dorset, yes. I have one of my friends who wanted to start growing grass in his house, and he went to the municipality and he got all the technical support that he needed to do that. So I think we should just approach them.
The telephone numbers of any contact name and person.
I don't have the numbers.
Listeners can go and approach and they can do it.
Yeah, we can put this information once it's available on our Facebook page. This is wonderful what Mahmoud is saying. You see, Mahmoud, the other thing is we need to get our kids excited about nature. As an example, we should try to take them out to farmhouses on the weekends and let them play with like animals and plants and let them get close to it. Because their only exposure to environment mostly is through the iPads and the laptops.
Yes, you are right.
So the other thing is what I experienced was there was an event here in Khurram Park a few years back, and I do remember municipality giving away X number of free plants per person.
Yes.
I know because I availed that opportunity. The other thing is there are a lot of wonderful nurseries in Seeb, where you can pick up a variety of plants which will survive in the local landscape, and they're almost like pennies on a dollar. So you can get the stuff indoor, outdoor. You can do a lot really.
Thank you so much.
We have to motivate from the childhood, our kids. The elders, they don't use so much serious, but our children, like if they are from 3 years and above, we can educate them. We need greenery. Then only by the time they get a little matured, they'll say that yes, we need greenery.
Agree. The other thing is, Mahmoud, if we look at the current landscape in terms of the global pricing of the oil and gas, you see, we can view this as an opportunity for other energies to be developed, which are currently under development. As an example, like hybrids and electric vehicles, and solar and wind energy and things of that nature. So a lot of work can be done, and it should be done, and I do agree with you that it needs to start with the kids.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Brother Mahmoud.
It's a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you.
Inshallah, we can get more information from you.
And please do call every single day. We're honored to have you on the show.
Every day we are getting new information, new knowledge. We are gaining, alhamdulillah. We can also share our experience and knowledge.
We love learning from you.
And Brother Mahmoud, please follow the other programs that are there on 90.4 FM. You have Let's Connect that starts from 12 to 1, and then you have our program from 1 to 2:30, and then you have another program from 3 to 4, which is The Art of Life. So please follow all programs and share your thoughts in them.
Inshallah, definitely. To the best we can spend the time, not so much, but at least to the best. Whenever we get opportunity to hear, definitely we'll use it.
Wonderful.
Jazakallah khair. Giving the valued information to the whole community. Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, Hazim, this was wonderful. Now, you see, a lot of the things we have discussed and heard from our wonderful callers is mostly being a reactive strategy in terms of, okay, damage is already done, what do we do?
Yes.
The only proactive thing we have heard is working on the kids.
Yes.
And if we again look at the spiritual side of the house, and we need to remind each other, we know this, but we tend to forget. The example given to us is don't be excessive in anything. Like it says in Quran in chapter 7 and verse 31, O children of Adam, take your adornment at every masjid and eat and drink, but do not excessive. Indeed, he doesn't like those who commit excess. All right. And then in another place it says, don't walk on the earth arrogantly.
Yes.
So consumption, overconsumption, and having stuff you don't need and hoarding money.
That's arrogancy.
Yeah. So if we can, most of us want to be humble.
Yes.
Right? So we need to change our lifestyle.
And I think what is important also, Muhammad, is to have role models.
Right.
Yeah. People love to follow role models.
Exactly.
And we need role models in the environment initiatives as well.
Definitely.
So young people like Sister Rumaitha, who have visited the South Pole, she can be a role model for young people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we encourage people like Sister Rumaitha to play that role,
Definitely.
to educate others. Yeah.
Definitely.
She has been there. She has seen it, and she saw the amount of damage that we cause every single day. So we need more people like Sister Rumaitha to propagate this.
Yeah, and she needs to get more exposure in events where there is huge footfall, and as an example, Muscat Festival. Yes. Or there is almost all the time something going on in the exhibition center.
Yes.
So, and she can do like a road trip and go to different universities and encourage the young minds and young hearts that, guys, this is actually taking place 24/7. If we don't do it, it's going to be horrible.
The other thing that I loved what Sister Rumaitha said, that young people have to travel. They have to go and see these places.
Exactly.
Yeah. If without seeing, you will never be able. Someone can preach you every single day about the environment, but you'll not be able to really feel the amount of damage that is being caused until we go and visit. So please go to Africa and see the drought, see the people who are
struggling
suffering in hunger.
For basic drinking water.
Go to the rainforest and see how they are being chopped off every single day.
Exactly.
Go to some places where the ocean is polluted.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to go there as young people. Instead of going for a holiday to enjoy yourself in an expensive hotel, make this journey and go and find out more about this universe.
Exactly. I agree with you. The other thing we need to inject into our kids and into ourselves first is that reusing and recycling is not a sign of poverty. It's a sign of power.
Yes.
And I would like to quote the Hadith of Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam where Aisha, may Allah please be with her, said that Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to repair his own shoes, sew his own clothes, that's, applying patches to them, and carry out all such household chores done without complaint or want for more. So this is a wonderful thing. You mentioned role model.
Amazing.
This is it.
Amazing. Muhammad, just remind us of the 3 R's that Sayyida Natasha has shared with us.
Right.
This is a good tip for the day that we can leave them with.
Yeah. First one, you can, and not necessarily in that order, the first one could be reduce. So just reduce your consumption, be it water, be it food. Okay.
Use what you need only.
Exactly, not what you want.
Not excessively.
Yeah, we've seen we overcook, we create a lot of food, and then we just waste it.
Yes.
Okay. Reduce. Whatever you're doing, just reduce it.
Okay.
And it'll reduce your waistline also.
For sure.
The other thing is reuse.
Okay.
So as an example, if your child is using clothes and he has overgrown them,
give it to someone else or
give it to your other child.
Even the initiative that they spoke about using the waste from food to make fertilizer.
Exactly.
Yeah, that is something.
Exactly.
Which is really
and plus, I believe it's Darata. They have put boxes all over the place, so it's a convenient way of dropping your clothes and shoes and things that you absolutely don't need. Let your other kids use them. There is no harm or humiliation in that. And finally, whatever is left out there, you cannot do anything about it. Try to recycle it.
Yes.
And there are a number of programs available for plastic, for glass, for other things.
Dear listeners, thank you very much for sharing with us in this topic, Going Green. Me and Muhammad Farouk have really enjoyed today's topic, and we've learned a lot from all of you, especially the callers. So see you tomorrow, inshallah, with another topic. And from me, Hatem Al-Salam, and Engineer Muhammad Farouk, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Never think of change. Be the change. Thank you for being a part of this amazing journey. Life as it is. Here on the Nation Station, Radio Sultan.